Alright guys, after talking about it for like 6 months, it's actually here. Today, we are going to be talking about the complete guide to fixing Fortnite. It's not going to be fancy for you, it's literally just going to be a slideshow kind of just like this, talking about each specific topic, what I would change about it, trying to make Fortnite the best game that it could possibly be. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle, I am your guy with many YouTube channels, so timestamps will be there if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Here's what you can expect, okay? We're going to go over every single little thing. I will tell you what I covered in a previous video, which you should totally check out because this is a part 2. I made a complete guide to fixing Fortnite in chapter 4. Now we're in chapter 6. There is a lot that I want to talk about. So this is what has already been covered, okay? I'm going to fire all of these off for you. Seasonal trailers, lobby screens, battle passes, Fortnite crew, map changes, pubs loot pool, vehicles, gameplay, crafting, fishing, ranked in arena, ranked loot pool, world cups, LTMs, horde rush, imposters, OG mode, proximity chat, creative, storyline, live events, comics, skins and cosmetics, collaborations, holiday and seasonal events, Fortnitemares, Winterfest, mini events, Epic's involvement, leaks, chapter layout, and how to enjoy Fortnite again. So that was a massive video, and that video still is very relevant today. So if you're interested in any of that, additionally to what we are going to be talking about over here, then please go check out that video. Here's what I'm going to be covering in today's video. I'm going to be firing all of that off for you, okay? What to expect in the video, which is right now, the Metaverse, bots and skill-based matchmaking, ranked, casual and competitive, full game chat, Mythics and Exotics, snipers, weather, Augments and Medallions, storyline and live events, LTMs, permanent LTMs, UEFN, OG Fortnite, Lego Fortnite, Reload, Ballistic, Rocket Racing, Festival, additional Metaverse modes, the block, mini battle passes and events, cosmetics, battle passes again, locker and presets, 18 plus content, exclusivity, Fortnite crew, leaks, concept and the concept Royale, Epic's involvement, AI in Fortnite, and then we are going to close things out after that. So that is, we're going to be covering every single little thing that we could possibly talk about in Fortnite, and we're going to be fixing it, and I would love to know what you guys think about this down below. So, like I said, we're going to start off with the Metaverse, and this is going to be the style of the video. It's not going to be fancy, literal bullet points. I'm here to just have a conversation with you, okay? Let's talk about Fortnite's Metaverse. Obviously, the most important thing when it comes to Fortnite and Fortnite's Metaverse, because this is the brand new vision, the Metaverse is a really good thing. What they need to do is they need to never, ever let BR suffer. We saw this a little bit in chapter 5, and we saw this, the community absolutely exploding. People were very unhappy with seasons. People were very unhappy with updates, Epic's communication, things like that. Battle Royale needs to be, I don't know if I want to say priority, but they need to make sure that it never suffers. They need to make sure that the updates are always there. We are getting the things that we loved for years and years, okay? They need to update every mode in the Metaverse frequently. If this is their vision, they need to absolutely get on that. No waiting a million years for a Ballistic update. No waiting forever for a Rocket Racing update. If you're trying to make all of these mainstays in Fortnite, and you're trying to build this Metaverse, get the teams, spend the money that's necessary in order to create these experiences, do whatever you need to do. And I always hate using this as an example because I think it's in such bad faith. You are a multi-billion-dollar company. You can afford to hire more teams for your main game, okay? Don't sacrifice resources and teams, just add more. Like I was just saying, they can afford it. They can do it, okay? Sacrifice a little bit of that profit, create a couple more skins. You'll have that back in no time. Keep expanding the Metaverse. That's something that we are going to be getting into. We're going to be talking about additional Metaverse modes that I would like to see. But the main point about that is they can never let BR suffer. Let's continue on to a conversation that's been talked about a lot, especially since OG Fortnite has returned. Bots and skill-based matchmaking. Both of them need to take off from Fortnite, okay? And I'm going to say this right now, guys. I know you've heard me talk about bots and skill-based matchmaking before, and I know that you've heard me talk about like a lot of what we are going to be talking about in this video. I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to explain it all. I'm not going to be like, well, I talked about this before. We're going to just brush over it, okay? This is the complete guide to fixing Fortnite in 2025. Bots and skill-based matchmaking have hurt the game so much. I am totally for bots for the people who want to have bots on. You need a toggle option, which I didn't include. You need a toggle option. For the people who want to play with bots, have a toggle. Fill their lobbies with bots. That's okay. If they want a bot-only game mode, have that available for players who want that. But Fortnite is a competitive battle royale game. People fell in love with it when there was no bots, when there was no skill-based matchmaking. We've had a big mind shift set in this community, in the Fortnite player base. Just all of a sudden, people are not okay with losing, okay? People get better. The skill gap was always there. I get that there technically wasn't all this editing and stuff in the turbo build. The skill gap was there. You had a 0% chance of winning a fight against a John Wick back in the day, and that John Wick, compared to the skill level now, sucks. The skill gap was always there. Fortnite had, and you can restore the Fortnite charm by removing these things, by making the game difficult again. When they reverse released OG Fortnite, I loved it again. Because there were no bots and skill-based matchmaking, we had to play so careful. The wins felt so earned. That the difficulty of Fortnite was the reason why it was so much fun, and actually legitimately, like, I know it wasn't actually like cool, okay, but there's a reason why you wanted to share it on your Snap story when you won a game of Fortnite. It was difficult. Now we just have completely scrapped that mindset where it's like, okay, well, it's wins need to be easy. I need the bots in my game. Skill-based matchmaking shouldn't be a thing over here. We need to make sure that the wins feel special again. You need 100 people. If you are having an issue with that, then you need more than 100 people in the game. Real people. You need to have that old Fortnite charm. That's what made Fortnite popular. Why did we get rid of that? Let's continue on to the next point, ranked. And we already did talk about ranked, so there was a couple other things that I wanted to talk about in this video. We need to add incentives to play ranked, because a lot of ranked players, for some reason, like the people that enjoy competitive Fortnite, they like to just go and play pubs and pub stomp people, which they have every right to do. That's fine. But for the ultra competitive people, give them an incentive to play ranked, okay? Cosmetics are perfect. I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but perhaps maybe some exclusive cosmetics. We're going to talk about exclusivity down the road a little bit, but they don't even have to be exclusives. Just like, you can add an edit style to the skin. You could give them possible V-Bucks. I know that there's already cash cups and things like that, but if you reach a certain rank, make it a lot more difficult, first of all, and then you can get like 1,000, 2,000 V-Bucks. I'm sure a lot of people that would be enough for them to go and play another game, or even if Epic Games is feeling generous, like 5,000 V-Bucks, depending on the difficulty of depending on the level of difficulty it is to get to the status of whatever they have at the rewards there. Do that. Give incentives to play ranked. If people are so worried about people just coming in and pub stomping, which there really isn't anything wrong with, if you want ranked to grow, just have people play ranked and give them some incentive to do it. I'm personally for exclusive cosmetics when it comes to like rank. Just have them give them some boring skin that nobody would want, but they can flex. But then again, people have issues with that too. They're like, oh my god, it's not fair that he got the cosmetic. Okay, let's talk about casual and competitive Fortnite. I have been talking about this for so long, you guys. We need to separate both loopholes. They should not be a thing. One of the biggest issues in Fortnite, in my opinion, is all of the nerfs that's been going on. Epic Games listening to the community, people not being happy with anything. The competitive players are upset. The casual players are upset. Why do they need to feel similar? Why? Have the movement, okay? I'm good with that. If we're talking about like the game feeling similar, like in OG Fortnite, that was a big issue about the movement. No, we need to separate both casual and competitive loopholes. You need to keep ranked balance. Have that. And perhaps maybe even listen to the community, like depending on how well they give their feedback, okay? If they don't want a 200 headshot sniper, give it to them. If they want just an AR and pump meta, give that to them. People enjoy the competitive aspect of Fortnite, give them what they want. And that would mean you can go crazy with pubs. And if you want to separate, if you want to have problems with the pub stomping too, that would fix that as well. The people who want a more competitive balanced Fortnite can go play ranked, and the people who want to have fun can go, and I don't mean to say that in like, okay, ranked isn't fun. I'm not saying that. I enjoy competitive Fortnite. But when the people just want to like chill, as they say, or fly around in an ATV, go play pubs. You need to revert that vision for pubs back to chapter 1, which is just focusing on adding that Fortnite charm. Some goofy things like the ballers, things like the junk rifts, things that don't belong in competitive Fortnite. If you want to play with something, if you want to have a test, if you want to like really take a risk and go, hey, we're going to make a season like Fortnite Wrecked, you can have that in pubs. Just give the competitive players a couple brand new weapons that came from that season, assuming that they're balanced, and just let them play with it. Just scrap the cars, scrap the perks, scrap all of that. Casual and competitive Fortnite need to 100% be separated, and I will die on that hill. Let's move on to the next point. Let's talk about the full game chat. So this is something that I was excited about, and I ended up adding to this. So when they added 50v50 versus OG, we saw the game chat. You know, like the little text bar at the bottom of the screen where you could talk to your team. Why not have that, but with the entire lobby, okay? That was so much fun just to talk to your team. I loved it. Absolutely loved it, okay? It did nothing but benefit Fortnite. If you don't want it, get rid of it. Why not have that with the entire lobby? I would love to say, hey, meet me at Tilted Towers. That would be hilarious. all that type of stuff. I keep talking about, and I talked about in the previous guide to fixing Fortnite, I talked about the benefits of proximity chat. This could kind of be in that same boat. I would die to have something like this. They am adding a full game chat in 50v50 for your team was an excellent addition, and I would love to see them continue with this and improve upon it for every single mode in Fortnite. Let's continue on to the next topic, guys. Let's talk about Mythics and Exotics. They've been a big problem, in my opinion, when it comes to Fortnite Battle Royale. So, one of the biggest problems, and Epic Games doesn't always do this, but you need to make sure that there's only one Mythic of each type. I want Mythics to feel special again. I want them to feel Mythic again, like they did when they were introduced in Chapter 2, Season 2. I know that wasn't like the Mythics introduction, but you get the kind of point that I'm talking about. Oh my god, someone's got Midas's drum gun. They need to feel scary, and when you have it, it needs to feel special and overpowered. Not overpowered to the point of the Infinity Blade, but it really needs to strike a little bit of fear into people's hearts. I'm for keeping them out of competitive, okay? But they need to feel special. They need to feel mythic. It no longer feels that way. They felt mythic up until what? Chapter 2, Season 4, and ever since then, oh, we're just going to have an assault rifle that's a mythic version, does a couple more damage. That doesn't feel mythic. We need to make the mythics feel mythic again. For exotics, I am so for removing durability. Why do we have that? They were fine when they were first introduced. I hate the fact that they have durability on them, okay? I liked the exotics when they were sold for gold and found through objectives. One of the two is good for me. Have a specific NPC that has a specific exotic weapon. And I did like something like what we saw in Fortnite Lawless with the black markets. That's where the only place where you could find the brand new exotics. I liked that there was a little bit of an objective to get to them, or a different way, or a specific way to get to them. I like that. They weren't just part of the regular loot pool. I love the mythics. I love the exotics. I just think they need to be tweaked just a little bit, especially when it comes to mythics, because they no longer feel mythic. Let's continue on, guys, to the next topic. And by the way, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. Your time is very valuable, and thank you very much for being here. Let's talk about snipers. Stop playing with them. Why is it every single Fortnite season or every single Fortnite chapter? Oh, now this gun has a ridiculous level bullet drop. I'm not going to learn it. I don't care to learn it. It's ridiculous the amount of bullet drop that some things have now. Why are we just changing the hunting rifle? This gun that people have been so happy with since OG Fortnite. The hunting rifle is one of the most satisfying weapons to get a headshot kill with, and people loved it. Why is it all of a sudden, oh, we're going to add all of the bullet drop in the world and it's not going to one-shot anymore? Why? That's ridiculous. Throughout every single sniper in the game, you need a consistent bullet a consistent bullet drop with it and bullet travel with it. Stop making some of them really slow. Have it be the same for snipers. Just have them function just a little bit differently. Okay, the heavy sniper, it one-shots through wood. Things like that. If you want to make one a little bit faster, if you want to tweak it just a tad, like the semi-auto I know is a little bit slow, fine. But to the extent that Epic Games is playing with them, I hate it. It's too much. I don't want to use snipers anymore. Snipers, whether or not... Guys, I'm sorry, man. This is just how I feel about it. You should be rewarded for excellent accuracy with a sniper against a moving target. If you are able to use a sniper and hit a headshot, it should be a one-shot kill. It's a sniper rifle. It's very difficult to do, and you should reward players for doing so. I am totally pro snipers having a one-shot kill. I will not use a sniper if it does not one-shot kill. Let's continue on to the next point, though, guys. We're rolling through the video pretty good so far, okay? Let's talk about weather in Fortnite. This is something that I miss. First off, if they are going to bring weather back, and I know that you're going to be talking about this in the comments below if I didn't mention this, weather in Chapter 3, while it was phenomenal, it did have a lot of performance issues for people. Solve it. I know that's much easier said than done. But if you're going to bring the weather back, you're going to need to solve those performance issues for a lot of Fortnite players. So we need to make sure that it functions well. We need to make sure that people's PCs aren't crashing, they don't see the frame drops, things like that, okay? Bring back all of the previous features. The tornado was excellent. The lightning storms were excellent. The blizzards were excellent. You don't have to have them all in at once. Just have them come back. I would like to see maybe every season or two, maybe every third season, let's say. The tornadoes are part of the map. I like that. It was an excellent change in the game. It was beautiful to look at. It was hilarious. Brought back a lot of that old Fortnite charm. Something that I would like to see is season-specific theme weather. If we end up actually ever having an Egyptian theme season, or I'm sure we'll get sand at some point again, have some sandstorms. Winterfest rolling around, do what they did in 2019. Bring blizzards to the game. I thought that was an amazing addition. I loved it, and it was unique. Maybe a meteor shower for a space theme season. I don't know. A superhero theme. I don't know what weather you could do for that, but you get my point, man. I loved it. And you could even you can have events that are similar to the weather. I'm thinking like, okay, next season at the time of recording this video is going to be a superhero theme season. Why not have like a ship above raining down some lasers? Some sort of weather effect like that. I know it's not really classified as weather, but something going on the map. Something I forgot to talk. We'll talk about it right now, okay? Related to the sky weather. I forgot to talk about the skyboxes. This season that I'm recording this video in right now is the Star Wars season. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful to look at. With all the TIE fighters in the sky, the Death Star. We need to continue adding skyboxes, okay? So big portion to talk about when we're talking about weather. Let's continue on to the next topic, and I'm sure that I will receive a little bit of pushback on this one because I feel like I'm in the minority when I say this, but I just feel like it's better, okay? And I feel like I have a little bit of fix for it. Let's talk about augments and medallions, okay? I don't like medallions compared to what Fortnite did with augments, and I don't think people like medallions to the extent where it's like, oh, we need these instead of augments, okay? Yeah, people can see on the map. Yeah, you get a little bit of a perk, but it allowed for such different gameplay when the augments were around. I liked the fact when Epic Games always diversified different fights. You never knew if somebody had a quick reloading SMG. You never knew if somebody could jump high while they're sprinting. You never knew that somebody could get mud on their feet if they just decide to slide in the jungle and then just have an extended period with that. We don't know if someone's going to heal in a bush. When Epic Games brings features to Fortnite that makes the gunplay and each fight that you have feel different instead of just pump, SMG, build, shotgun, I think that's excellent. I think that Augments did a phenomenal job with that, okay? We need those augments, though, to be creative, just as they were in Chapter 4, Season 1. They were great then. They were unique. They had that Fortnite charm to them. Things like balloons, things like, having a little bit of a 0-point dash, like an exotic, something like that. When they went to Chapter 4, Season 2 and 3, the augments were essentially useless. We need to make sure that's not the case. Now, for those people who were annoyed by the pop-up, for those people who wanted to use their emote button or whatever button it was, and it got in the way, have a setting in UI where people can set things. Okay, if the augment wheel is scrolling, accept this if it shows up first, decline this if it's up. If you have those and you can separate that within the UI and make it more of an automatic process, I think that people will be a little bit less annoyed with them. So for the people who didn't want to choose, like, okay, I never want soaring sprints. I never want something that will give me a bow. Give it so, okay, while it still ends up rolling in your game and you still see that, have it automatically take place so it doesn't get in the way for people. And I feel like people will be less annoyed with augments if they end up adding that to the game. So augments, I absolutely would place in the game over medallions. Let's continue on and talk about the storyline and live events, and this is expanded because I took a deep dive into this in the last video. Now, we are seeing the effects of Mustard's team no longer being here. We need to bring as many people back as we possibly can. I don't know who is a part of that team. If they did one little ounce of coding, return them. That team, along with Donald Mustard himself, made it for the perfect storyline experience, and I know we need to give Charlie Wen some time, and so far he's been doing an okay job, and throughout Chapter 6, I've still been enjoying it, but it's nothing compared to what Mustard did. If you can take some of Mustard's team by any chance and intertwine them with whatever and whoever is working on the storyline right now, do that. They have experience making things the best they could possibly be. We need to also make sure that we have one grand storyline. The storyline with the 7, the 0 point, and the IO. There were a lot of different themes in the middle and a lot of side stories, and those were all great, but we had one overlying story that was just scrapped by now, and people still haven't forgotten that. Now, I know this next point is going to be a little bit difficult, and I know you're going to comment down below and start saying, okay, that's not feasible, but Epic Games has proven that this has been feasible, okay? 2 live events per season. Grand live events, not mini seasons. 1 collab, do what you want with the concerts. I don't care what it is. Travis Scott, Ariana Grande, don't care. 1 storyline event. This was some of the most hype moments in Fortnite history. They've proven they can do that in multiple seasons and have 2 live events. Just hire the necessary people. You are a billion-dollar company. You can afford that. And if you really worried about losing some profit, bump up the amount of skins that you're selling and make the skins, good. They can do this. And I think that they should do this, okay? Events. All live events, with the exception of chapter-ending events, should take place 1 week before the season finale. This is something that I think it was Jackus that brought this up, and it's really stuck with me. I miss having the live events and having to play within that aftermath, experiencing the story, speculating for next season, figuring out what's going to happen, having the device event. Okay, did we just figure out that we were in a simulation? There's this giant water storm now. Is the map going to flood next season? We need to have this type of stuff. The first time that we saw the in-between, the first time that Tilted Towers was destroyed, what's going to be built here? I can't believe Tilted Towers was actually destroyed. I liked having to play with that tiny little map change and now speculating about what's coming next within the next update, within the next season, and within the storyline. Now, for chapter ending events, should be a black hole event. Have Fortnite go down for a couple days. We're okay with this, okay? Or at least I'm okay with this, and I think this is the best way to go about it. You don't need to go down for a couple days. Just have like a 24-hour downtime, an extended version of downtime. Have a giant climax, the map blows up, whatever it may be. Chapter endings, events, and leading into new chapters should have that maximum level at hype. If you want to continue with the mini events, have them randomly. Things like they used to do in Chapter 1. Okay, a cube kind of appeared out of nowhere. Wait, oh, now the lake's bouncy. Little things like that. I enjoy those events, and I enjoy those little events like in Chapter 2, Season 3 when we're talking about, if you can include that being an event. Just random little things that happen throughout Fortnite. I miss them, and I think they should go back to their first Chapter 1 vision when it comes to storyline and live events. But again, there's so much more to talk about with that. We expanded upon that in the last video. And something we also talked about is LTMs. Now that we are not getting any LTMs anymore, we need to touch on this. Regularly recycle all previous LTMs and add new LTMs. There's not a ton to talk about because, again, I touched on everything back in the previous video. But where are all the great LTMs? We get one every once in a while. We need to bring them back along with brand new LTMs. Very self-explanatory, okay? But there is a little bit more that I wanted to talk about when it comes to LTMs, because there were a few LTMs that were so perfect, so unique. Why are they not Metaverse modes? The Metaverse is Fortnite's new vision. Why are we not having this, okay? These are the 4 that I believe should always be modes in Fortnite and could be updated, okay? Imposters, Floor is Lava, Air Royale, Operation Knockout. These were some of the most unique times of playing Fortnite. I made sure that I was logging on to play the game once these things were available. Imposters, more than anything, there is no way that should not be a Metaverse mode. It was beloved by the community. And I'm speculative of this because some people just got their feelings hurt a little bit too much. Epic Games decided to err on the side of safety. Floor is Lava, Air Royale, 2 of the greatest LTMs of all time. It's always going to have a player base, and it's always fun. Plus, you can update things like Air Royale. I would love to see that. Could you imagine? Just new plane gear all the time. That'd be really cool. You could sell some plane wraps. People would like to see that. Operation Knockout, one of the most underrated LTMs of all time. It's a brand new, and I don't know if I call it Fortnite original game mode, but the fact that no matter what the map changes, you can just play on a brand new map each time. It will never get tiring, and people really, really like the mode. I found myself playing Operation Knockout all the time. These should be Metaverse modes. Let's continue on to talking about the Metaverse and UEFN in general, specifically for the creative side of the community. Now, we need to fix every single issue with Discovery. That should be a priority from Epic Games. If you're expecting people to devote their time, energy, resources, money, and livelihood into UEFN, you need to be on top of this, and you need to make sure that there are no issues. So, while it may be difficult, if the community is upset about something in Discovery and upset about your algorithm, and I'm not talking about the people where it's like, nobody's playing my map, it's Epic Games' fault. Not talking about those people. There are legitimate issues with Discovery. Fix them. We need communication from Epic. If you are expecting people to devote their livelihood and work as a UEFN dev as a job, as their own career, they deserve communication from you. I'm not talking about the player base. They deserve zero communication, and I've talked about that on various occasions. When you're talking about people who you are expecting to devote their life to UEFN, they deserve communication from you in every aspect of Fortnite, okay? This is tough, but unlimited resources should be given. How many people have been making maps that are just, okay, well, we hit the memory cap. We hit this cap. Unlimited might be a little bit too much to ask, but you need to increase it because too many people are having that issue. 24/7 human moderation. This has been a problem with YouTube too. Oh, you make an appeal? Okay, well, declined. If there's people, exploiting the system, if there's people making maps that I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but something to do with the color of people's skins, stuff like that. We need to make sure that those maps are taken down. We need to make sure that Epic Games has 24/7 human moderation looking over things. We need Epic Games to also promote maps. Why aren't they doing this? Like, they do this a little bit, but why is this not a regular thing? Why do we not have like a Fortnite specific YouTube channel showing things off and showing off ideas, showing off builds, things like that? Dev blogs and Q&As for anything new that's going on absolutely, again, falls kind of under the communication from Epic. Fast queue times should also be a priority. However you can make this work, Make it work. I know this is a vision of Tim Sweeney's specifically, but sometimes you have to wait a while to update the game, and people don't have the attention spans to that anymore. This is something that I should have mentioned in the video, and I don't have a whole category for, but this would actually be perfect, and I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the actual, technology feature is called, but to have the overlay of social media, TikTok, Instagram, TikTok specifically would be great. Have that on your screen. Bring that to the game. That actually fixed fast queue times. People don't have the attention span anymore, and I know you'd be contributing to the problem, but it's the reality of the world, man. You're not going to fix people's dopamine addiction, so just give it to them. If you can't have the fast queue times, hell, scroll on TikTok for a couple minutes. That might actually satisfy it. But regardless, make the queue times as fast as possible and continue with the IP additions. I know we are getting some really cool things. I know the TMNT stuff has been implemented in creative, but you are just allowing creators to expand upon ideas, expand upon experiences, and making UEFN a great place for the entire player base. All of these, I believe, should be a huge priority for Epic Games, and let's continue on to the actual UEFN Metaverse modes. OG Fortnite. The state of it is in a little bit of shambles right now, okay? When it comes to OG Fortnite, I personally believe that they should continue through the entirety of Fortnite. We don't need to go from Chapter 1 to Season X and then start off at Chapter 1 again or scrap the mode completely. There's a lot of people who haven't experienced the rest of Fortnite. Some people have their favorite seasons in Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4. Just go through it all. And then by the time you're done that and you circle back to Chapter 1, Season 1, if that's what they choose to do, it will be long enough to the point where people would like to play that again. I think that's the proper way to handle OG. Now, this has been a very, very big discussion between the player base, and I thought about this a lot. We need to keep only the movement changes, nothing else. Everything and every experience within OG Fortnite should feel accurate to OG Fortnite, but I've been thinking about it a lot, and I still wouldn't be opposed to the idea of keeping the old movement. But I understand Epic Games wanting to bring people back for OG Fortnite, and if they'd be a little bit reluctant to try everything else within Fortnite if they don't have the same movement. I get that, and as much as I would prefer it to be an OG experience, I've played maps with the old movement, and it doesn't feel the same to me as a Fortnite player, and the goal for Epic Games is to have people play OG Fortnite, return to OG Fortnite, and then go play the rest of Fortnite. You need consistent movement with all that. Other than that, stop nerfing stuff, stop changing things. Actually, today, a leak came out at the time of recording this video today, and I don't know if Epic Games is going to implement this, but I do not like this idea at all. They're going to consider, and they sent out surveys to players, would you like to see Chapter 2 weapons? Would you like to see this and that implemented to OG Fortnite? No. I want to play OG Fortnite to have the OG experience. Why would I want to start playing? That's what Reload's for. Yeah, where you have the fan favorite weapons. No, I am currently in Chapter 1 Season 3. I want to play the game like I did in Chapter 1 Season 3. I think it's a horrible idea, and for me personally, I would stop playing OG entirely if they start tweaking it that much, okay? We also need to revisit all events and little updates. Recapture the same experience. Kevin the Keep rolling around. Bouncy Lake. We need to, the rocket launch. Everything. Where at the time of recording this video, it looks like there's going to be meteors falling from the sky. I love that. We need every single update. And I don't want them to continue doing what they're doing. And it's okay, this is kind of like a recap of everything that came in the season. Here you go. No, we should have updates at the same frequency that they've had the updates back in the day. It's OG Fortnite. I want to re-experience everything that I did. We already talked about this. No boss, skill-based matchmaking. It completely has killed the game for so many people. And obviously, they need to continue with the OG passes. This has been a great addition to Fortnite. This has been an excellent way to combat the issue that people already have with original skins. And it's kind of it's always nice to get new cosmetics. It's always nice to grind a new battle pass. And it's excellent for the Fortnite crew. So all of that they need to continue with. But OG Fortnite does need quite a few changes. Let's continue on to Lego Fortnite. A little bit less to say about Lego Fortnite. Unlimited access, activities like Minecraft. Minecraft is a game that you can just play forever and ever and ever and ever. Lego Fortnite should have that same vision. We need to update it at a reasonable pace, which makes sense. There's been a little bit scattered of the updates that we were getting. Scrap build limits as much as we possibly can and copy and paste Minecraft. This should be Fortnite's Minecraft. This is how the Lego Fortnite could succeed. They need to have that exact same vision as Minecraft. We need to have the players, the same type of players who would play Minecraft, a reason to play Lego Fortnite. Give us all of that. Like I said, a little bit less to say about Lego Fortnite, but the vision is pretty clear for this. Let's talk about Reload. A little bit of a quick stop over here as well. Reload's been arguably the greatest thing that Fortnite has ever done in a long time. We need to continue doing exactly what they're doing with Reload. Just continue adding the maps And perhaps if you even want to get into it, chapter 3 themed map additions, like, if we're going to talk about adding, chapter 5, I don't know. You have to be really careful with some stuff. But if you're going to make like a chapter 5 season 2 type thing, maybe add some of the Greek god mythics, things like that. That's what I'm talking about. But other than that, reload, I think it's been perfect. That's why I said you need to continue with the exact pace and vision. Reload is everything that you could possibly love in a game like that. They're bringing back fan favorite items. They're updating it at a nice pace. I love all of that. Let's talk about Ballistic, though. I am personally a Fortnite Ballistic lover. We need more maps, gadgets, and weapons. The update, and we'll talk about this last point too, the rate that we've been getting updates, I don't want to say is unacceptable, but it's understandable why people are getting tired of Ballistic. If this is legitimately in early access and you want this to be the next big thing in Fortnite, you absolutely need to update more frequently, You need to scrap the shell maps. I liked the idea of it, and I'm somebody who would play on it. I'm okay with that. But it's clear that the vast majority of the community wants more fleshed out maps, and I don't blame them for that. I don't blame them for thinking that this is an unfinished and lazy update from Epic Games. Scrap that. I get the vision behind it, but you're not updating the game enough, okay? Get rid of it. And we need to also separate competitive from casual. I would love to experience a little bit of the Fortnite charm in Ballistic. I would love to experience maybe some mythic items. I would love to experience some exotic items, things with a little bit of a gimmick, add a fire effect, things like that. I would love to see all of that. And if you separate competitive from casual, have Ballistic as it is right now, competitive. But just have some fun things. Even if you want like a motorcycle or something like that, that'd be fun. Or shopping carts. You can bring that Fortnite charm into Ballistic and just separate it from pubs and competitive. There's no reason to not play ranked Ballistic right now. But so far, Ballistic I'm still enjoying. There's just some tweaks that I personally would like to see. Let's talk about everyone's favorite mode though. Rocket racing. So again, same kind of deal. Separate casual for competitive. For competitive, you have the rocket racing that we have right now with a little bit of updates. I talked about this in previous videos. Mario Kart is the vision. Mario Kart is the vision for pubs, okay? For the people who want an actual racing game, keep it in competitive, okay? Obviously, we need more frequent updates. Could you imagine how much fun an Epic Games Mario Kart racing map would be, or game mode? And I talked about Double Dash specifically because I like the idea, and there's a reason it's my favorite Mario Kart, is because every single character had their own unique feature about them. They all had their special item. I loved using Wario and Waluigi because you could get the bomb item. Yoshi could have their own egg rolling around. You can get an item flopping out of that. Could you imagine the amount of potential that Epic Games would have if they copy and pasted Mario Kart? Have the cars be a little bit, like, they don't need to be as fast and high-paced as Rocket Racing is. Literally, just copy and paste Mario Kart. Have the items, have the shockwave grenades, impulse grenades. Could you imagine all of the original things that Epic Games could come out with too, like they've done with Air Royale? I would love this. Shockwave hammer. If you want Double Dash, you want to have teams. Somebody in the back could have the weapon. Somebody with a shockwave hammer just boom like that while driving around somebody. That's just literally one example. And I want to make a video diving into like what I would do for a specific rocket racing game mode. I'm going to be doing that. I think the potential for this, if they made it like Mario Kart, this could be the mode that doesn't necessarily compete with Battle Royale, but it's right up there with Reload. Right up there. You need to change the entire vision for rocket racing, but don't scrap it because it has all of the potential in the entire world. Let's continue on to Fortnite Festival. Weekly jam tracks, scrap FOMO practice, and live concerts. Why? I get the idea behind selling them, and I'm okay with exclusivity. But for the jam tracks, I don't like that. We made a whole video talking about that. Additionally, we could have some live concerts there instead of just like the creative concerts that they've been doing. Why not have it in Festival? Set up something that they could play. I'd be okay with that. Very little to talk about when it comes to Fortnite Festival because they are doing a good job, but there are some things that could be tweaked. Now, something that I can't wait to talk about. Additional Metaverse modes. As much as people like to talk about Fortnite dying, as much as people like to, hate on Fortnite as much as possible and say this game, especially with the Metaverse right now, it's on its last leg, it's only going to last a maximum of 2 more years. There are a lot of modes that if they work on it and they spend the money to get the teams necessary and working on all of these, I would like to eventually see all of these. And I know it is a lot to not necessarily ask or a lot to say, hey, this would fix Fortnite. I get that. But we're talking about like 15, 20 years down the road, we could have things flushed out like this, okay? We need a hero shooter similar to Marvel Rivals. Have the Fortnite storyline characters have their own weapons. The 7 can fly. Midas has some gold stuff. Midas can freeze people to golden touch. That's just scraping the surface. And if you want, you can add the collab characters to that too, to have like freezing people, Frozone, what he can do, TMNT. Could you imagine all of these characters like, you know, excuse me, the My Hero Academia character is not coming to mind. I haven't watched that show, but the Deku Smash. Could you imagine integrating all of that into a Marvel Rivals type shooter within Fortnite? That would succeed. A fighting game similar to Smash Bros. You want to be the biggest game of all time. Same kind of deal. Each character can have their own specific moveset, their own specific powers. I'd love all of that. A sports mode. We know this is in the works. Basketball, tennis, I don't care. Make it fun. Okay? I've talked about this, and I'm not going to go into it too deeply because I dedicated a whole portion of last video to Horde Rush. We need a Call of Duty type zombies mode, just like Transit, within Fortnite, because Horde Rush, to me personally, isn't that fun. I play it once when it comes around, and then I'm good, okay? Could you imagine, with the Fortnite map, every single time that we have a chapter with each island, one bus traveling around the entire Fortnite island, fighting off zombies until you lose, and don't just have 3 rounds. Keep fighting them. Keep spawning the zombies until you lose. What Transit did in Call of Duty, Fortnite could do so much better if they were to do the same thing. Have your own dedicated zombies mode. Give a reason for people within the COD Zombies community to come try this one. Epic Games can do it better. Save the world. Why is Save the World not a thing that's supported if we are just talking about all of these different Metaverse modes? Why? Why? This should absolutely be in the game. It has a dedicated community. Keep it in the game. Fall Guys, it is already kind of in the mode, but Epic Games needs to have their own map, their own support, their own updates for it. Rocket League is already owned by Epic Games. Why not integrate that into Fortnite? It'd be cool if you could actually access, like within Fortnite, you could share the servers. It'd be the same game, but you can access that within Fortnite. I think that'd be pretty cool, and I think it would get more people to try out Rocket League. A Disney mode, we don't know what's coming with this, but obviously this is coming, so we thought we'd mention a Disney mode for additional Metaverse modes. And I know that's a lot to ask, guys, but years and years down the road, Fortnite is going to be the juggernaut, a bigger juggernaut than it already is. Let's talk about the block, guys. Something that I miss from Fortnite is the block. I can't believe that they never brought this back. I don't think they vaulted it because of the one person, you know, had added to their map somebody hanging themselves, because they continued on with the block, okay? We need to return the block to BR. We need to update it frequently, every week. This was such an incredible thing. I miss when the community had stuff like this, like things like the concept of Royale, things that we're gonna be talking about that. I really, really, really miss seeing people's creations. And now, like, we had that when creative was in its infancy, like back in, what was it, chapter 1, season 7? Creative was so simple back then. Did you see the types of blocks and POIs that people were making? It was beyond incredible. With the things that people can do in UEFN now, where you're telling me that we don't have the block, why? Oh my god, this is something that I miss so much. Something else that I would love to see is adding the block, and the reason that it's in quotations is because I don't want block POIs and Ballistic, like little POIs in Reload and Ballistic. I want people to submit entire Ballistic maps. I want people to submit entire Reload maps. For Ballistic, perhaps it's a shell map. I know that you might not be able to go in like too in depth with what you can create on the outside, but especially for Reload. I was thinking about this a lot because something that I really, really, really loved back in the day with Halo is the Forge updates, and we had the community-made Forge maps. Halo Reach specifically, some of my favorite maps were made in Forge mode, which is the creative mode, if you're not familiar with it, is like, it's just a base sky with some grass, and then people built maps on top of that. So it was kind of like the same scenery, but my favorite maps, Pinnacle, Asylum, Asphalt's my favorite one of all time. Those were all made very easily, and anybody can make them. And I don't care that it was the same scenery, because the map was so cool and so much fun to play on that I loved it, and I would play it over something that was originally made by Bungie. You could implement this same thing into Reload and Ballistic. Could you imagine, with the minds that we have in this community, the things that they could build, and if a map's that good, test it a little bit in Reload. People will be happy to play on new maps. Test it a little bit. Test it a little bit in Ballistic, and if people really, really respond positively to it, add it to the game permanently. This is something that Halo did so well, and I would love to have this implemented in Fortnite, because again, the minds and creativity of some people, I am shocked that that's not used by Epic Games anymore. Bring the block back to BR, having a POI, perhaps multiple POIs, plus it probably takes the work off Epic Games for creating new maps. Hey, next season is going to be superhero themed. Let's make a superhero themed block. Have your submissions. We'll have it in the next season. That's a whole POI that you don't have to create. I love that. I love that. So if you haven't figured it out, the block is one of my favorite things that Epic Games has ever done, and I can't believe that they are not including that within Fortnite anymore. But let's continue on to mini passes and events. I'm not sure if this is something that Epic Games is going to continue moving forward with. It seems like they're kind of done with it, but I wanted to talk about it anyways because I thought they were great. We had the Heisted event in Chapter 4 Season 1, and we had a collab event with the Avatar The Last Airbender, and we've had more than that, don't get me wrong, but I like the collabs. I like the Fortnite original ones. So each season, I think that we should have a mini pass, and like by event, I mean, addition to the Fortnite game. I like the original, I like the collabs, so why not alternate between each season, which it will be. 2-week event, 3 weeks before the season ends. I don't like ending the season off with, and especially if we're going to have like this entire vision with Fortnite, I don't want to end the season off, okay, it's about Avatar The Last Airbender. No, they can have their time, they can come, they're welcome, take off, we have our storyline live event, and then we spend the entire last week with the aftermath of that live event. I think that would be the perfect way to structure a season, to keep people entertained the entire time. Now, what is most important with this entire thing is events should be in addition to a season theme. It shouldn't take over like the Avatar The Last Airbender. It ruined the theme of the season, the Greek god theme that everybody was waiting for from the beginning of Fortnite. People wanted that theme in the game for so long. We finally had it, and it was just scrapped. We vaulted some stuff in place for a collaboration. This is when I understand the part of the community that says, I want to play Fortnite, not add night. These mini events should never feel like they're taking over the entire game. It succeeded one time when it was the mega season. I unfortunately loved that, and I know it's hypocritical, but we need to make sure that we are sticking to the season theme. These should be welcome guests. I'm okay with that. And something that I didn't talk about either, but we'll talk about like right now is mini seasons. I like that. If we're going to go collab focused, I like having mini seasons for it. But the problem is like, no, I was going to say like, the problem is like a lot of people I can already see not liking a Simpson theme season, but it's not here for too long. I'd be okay with that with the mini seasons. We can keep that up. But instead of mini seasons, I did like the mini passes and events, I think. One of the two I'm good with. Just make sure that we have that in mind. Let's continue on to cosmetics in general. I know that I'm going to receive a little bit of pushback on this one, but I think this is the best way to move forward, okay? We need to continue balancing original cosmetics with collaborations. Epic Games, at the time of recording this video, which is on May 18th, 2025, they've been doing a good job with this. Every single update, we need some nice skins. We need some Fortnite original skins, along with the collaborations that are coming, okay? The shops. A lot of people are having issues with bundles being more expensive, putting the instruments in it, putting the kicks in it, and then the price is bumped up for the bundle. Stop doing that. It's making the community very, very unhappy. It stopped me from buying bundles personally. I would imagine it stopped a lot of other people as well. And this is the big pushback that Epic Games is receiving from this because they are forcing things into bundles. And I know it's this easy, and it really is this easy. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Vote with your wallet. But at the same time, there are things that I would like to buy that I don't want to buy the bundle for, okay? They need to stop doing that, especially if they're going to add what I am suggesting. So these are all cosmetics that I personally would like to see. Voice packs, weapon charms, toys, pets or companions, which we know is being worked on, hats and gloves, glider tricks, license plates on cars, banners similar to COD. Idiot Clen had a spelling mistake. Emote sliders, I meant to say. All of these are more ways to have creativity into your Fortnite experience. It really is as simple as if you don't like it, don't buy it. I'm very for more cosmetics in Fortnite, with assuming that Epic Games continues with never forcing anything. Like, could you imagine? Okay, we have a skin, so we're gonna have that with a voice pack, weapon charm, all of this. Don't force anything into a bundle. If you want to have like a mega bundle for something, that's fine. If we don't do that, I see no reason as to why we can't have more cosmetics. I personally would really like to see, and I would imagine a lot of people feel the same way as well. The more customization you have, the more personality that you can fit in your Fortnite loadout, the better. If you don't like it, don't buy it. But this could bring a lot of fun into the game. I would like to see a lot of these things, but you need to make sure that with those first 2 bullet points there, that's the most important thing we take into consideration when we're talking about Fortnite cosmetics. Let's continue on to battle passes. I went very in-depth with battle passes in my last video, so there is a couple more things that I would like to talk about. I have been talking about for a long time. I would like to have 2 battle passes. So many people are unhappy with the collaborations in the battle pass and how they've kind of taken over. Have 2 battle passes, 1 collab, 1 original. If you don't like it, don't buy it. You keep the regular Fortnite players happy with, having an entire Fortnite original battle pass. More money for Epic Games. This would profit them. There's no reason not to have this. Continue adding passes for Metaverse modes. I would love to see a Ballistic Battle Pass, even if it's like a mini Battle Pass, okay? If we're going to continue adding like a Disney Battle Pass, you have a Disney-themed Battle Pass, I would like to see something like that. Make it mini. I don't care. I can profit Epic Games again, okay? Scrap the filler content. The amount of filler in the Battle Passes have been ridiculous as of late. Ridiculous. And I'm not talking about even the sprays and emojis, because you know what? That's fine, but look at a Chapter 1 Battle Pass and compare it to now. The value is insane. And I know the value is always there because it's 950 V-Bucks. I get that. But it's just... And I don't want to say slap in the face either. It's not a slap in the face. It's just... It's not the same. And I don't like the amount of filler that has been in the Battle Pass. And people take notice to it. But the problem is, everyone's going to buy it anyways. So I get it from Epic Games' perspective. But lastly, we need to talk about scrapping super styles for overtime styles. Super styles... And I hate saying this, but they seem very, very lazy and repetitive compared to what we used to get in the overtime styles, which kept people playing the game. You gave people challenges for their skins. You want people to play your game. You want people to continue grinding your game, being online for the shop, buying more things. Give the overtime challenges with overtime styles, because they were oftentimes very cool styles, very unique styles. And they're just far better than the super styles. Because I remember, I hate doing challenges. I never do challenges in Fortnite, but I always did them for those overtime styles because those styles were so cool. That's the way to go about it. We need to make a little bit of changes to the battle passes over here. Let's continue on to the locker and presets. My biggest gripe with Epic Games, okay? Quit touching it! Stop messing with it. Stop messing with the UI. It's such a simple thing that should work flawlessly. But we keep playing with it. Why does the randomized preset option not work? It hasn't worked the entire chapter. You know, I don't make presets anymore, and I don't randomize my cosmetics for that reason. I have no desire to purchase new cosmetics. I buy a new skin, like, not nearly as often as I used to for that reason. We also need additional presets. Guys, if you've been playing this game since Chapter 1 or Chapter 2, and you are a regular player who has spent a fair amount of money, either that or just buying the battle passes, we need more than 100 presets now, or excuse me, more than 200 presets. I don't care if it's a separate charge, because I know it's like, it takes up Epic Games storage. Put it in the Fortnite crew, have a separate charge for it. I will personally pay that, and I'm sure that there are other people that will pay for additional presets too. We need more presets. The amount that we have right now is not enough for people who have been regularly playing this game since Chapter 1. Just give us an option on how to do that. You don't have to give it to everybody. Just have that option available, and again, I will personally pay for it. Let's continue on to the next topic. I don't know if anybody will agree with me over here, but I see a lot of potential with 18 plus content. I've mentioned it here and there with Fortnite. 18 plus emotes, UEFN maps I'm talking about, and skins. With the feature that they've added to Fortnite, where if you don't want to see any of this, or if you want the parental controls, you can hide skins, they appear as default, or if you don't want to see an emote, which I still think is ridiculous, like, oh, Tick the Hell hurts my feelings so much that if somebody does it, I don't even want to see it. We have that setting in the game. Why not add 18 plus content? Just for the people, but which Epic Games will need to be on the ball with, heavily monitoring parental controls and sensors. For the people who don't want to see this, perhaps have the sensor already ticked off for new accounts, unless you manually turn that off with some kind of verification that you're 18 and over. I get that people will get around that, but the steps are there to put it in place for Epic Games to allow 18 plus content. Could you imagine the types of emotes that you could get into adding? And I'm not talking even specifically about something like twerking, but like a synced emote that you could have with people, just like, you know, doing something stupid, like, you know, like, I don't want to do it on camera, but like, you know, like the stuff like this, you know, people would purchase that. I would purchase some stuff like that, and it would help Fortnite a lot. Okay, I get that it's a little bit of a touchy area, but Epic Games is becoming something more than Fortnite, and I personally think that they should dive a little bit into that. Plus, with the UEFN maps, the amount of experiences that people could create, I personally think that this is something that Epic Games should dive a little bit into. Let's continue on to the topic that everybody loves to talk about, exclusivity. Battle passes moving forward to forever return. It's clear that the majority of the community, at least the online community, I would imagine that most people, even like, you know how I talk about the Fortnite community being just a loud minority of people online? I would imagine that the loud minority is representative of the majority of the player base this time around. Battle passes should forever return. They should not remain exclusive. I like the idea of having the battle passes, and I don't, but the thing is, I also don't care if people have the same skins as me. I wouldn't even think twice about it really if Epic Games did bring back the battle passes, but the right thing to do is to keep the things that were advertised as exclusive, okay? Collaborations should never be exclusive. For some reason, again, I might be alone on this. For some reason, people are all hung up about not having their favorite IP and not being able to buy it. I personally don't get it, but it seems to be what most people want, okay? So we're going to make them happy. Add skin trading. If somebody really wants an old skin, allow them to trade it with somebody. If somebody really is okay with trading that. And I know that people have talked about like skin trading being problematic for some reason. I don't know why. I can't really think of anything that could go wrong with skin trading, but if anybody could open up in the comments, I'd appreciate that. I'm just not as educated on the topic and the bad habits of skin trading, I guess, okay? Rarely release exclusive skins, but I do believe they should exist. I'm for battle passes not being exclusive if that's what the community wants, but sometimes there is that really special moment. Sometimes there is that Season X, saying goodbye to Chapter 1 Season X, having that exclusive paradigm, having the exclusive Galaxy skin. Every once in a while to have like a skin that's that special for a specific event, I think it's cool. So every once in a while, get an exclusive skin, something that's exclusive. I think that would benefit it would make the moment feel more special for the people who's playing the modes. And if someone out there has an issue with that, grow up. It's a skin in a video game, okay? We need to... Epic Games also needs to stop slapping people in the face when they purchase an exclusive cosmetic, okay? Oh, the paradigm came back. That was an accident. I don't remember the other one that recently came back. There was another one too. Oh, that's on us. That's on us. So if you bought it, you can keep it. That's insulting to our intelligence. We know that it wasn't accidental. We know you were just profiting from it. And it really... I don't know how else to describe it besides it being an actual slap into the face of the people who supported your game and the people who purchased something under the idea that that would be exclusive and they could only have it. I personally wouldn't be bothered by it, but there are people who cared about it, and that's the right thing to do. Stop re-releasing things that were exclusive and pretending that they were accidental. I wouldn't be shocked soon. Okay, what's a popular Battle Pass skin? I don't know. Darth Vader. There we go. The first Darth Vader. Oh, there was a Star Wars event and we accidentally released the wrong Darth Vader skin into the item shop. Sorry, guys. That's on us. So if you purchased it in that time, you can have it. Meanwhile, Epic Games is profiting like hundreds of thousands of dollars from it. Okay? I'm not stupid. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. Stop doing it. Okay? Now, I believe that is the right way to handle exclusivity. Let's continue on to the Fortnite crew. And I talked about the Fortnite crew in the previous video, so we're going to be expanding upon that. So, every single skin has had extra styles. I like that it changed, but I don't like the fact that every single skin is having the same extra styles. I think it's a nice crew perk to have, but just make a different style for the skin, man. You can do it. Just have a little bit more time to it. We know that they can do it. It's a little bit of a, I hate saying this, but it is a little bit lazy on Epic Games' part, okay? Add Save the World as they used to and locker presets. This is something that I personally would want. This could be an incentive for people to purchase the Fortnite crew. Give the Fortnite crew players more locker presets. You would have me in the Fortnite crew until the end of time if that's the case, okay? And I know that I'm asking for a lot, especially with like locker presets, Save the World, things like that. I would be open to having subscription tiers too, because I am talking about like having ballistic battle passes with weapon charms and things like that, a Disney mode battle pass. I understand it's a lot for the price that the Fortnite crew is at right now. So if they want to introduce tiers to still get everything, I'd be okay with that. Maybe a base tier where it's like, okay, you get what the Fortnite crew is now, but if you purchase this extra tier, then you're also going to get the Disney mode battle pass. You're also going to get the ballistic battle pass. You're going to get Save the World access, things like that. I would be okay with that. I think that's the right way to move forward with the Fortnite crew. Let's keep talking about leaks. Talked about leaks in the last video, okay? But since this last video, since Chapter 4 Season 1, or whatever it was in Chapter 4 where I made this, I think it was Chapter 4 Season 4, excuse me, regardless, in Chapter 4, this has become even worse. And I didn't think it could get worse. I've talked about leaks at various points on the channel. This is Fortnite's biggest problem. The fact that every little thing ever is getting leaked within Fortnite is the reason that people are upset with the game, is literally the reason why people it's the problem that people claim as other issues, like, oh, I'm burnt out of the game, oh, this season is boring. No, it's because you know every single little thing that's coming to the game. It's to the point now we have the entire roadmap for Chapter 7 Season 2 and specific updates within it. Soon, we're going to have this narrative live event that's coming in this Star Wars season. We're going to have every single little detail about that event, what's going to happen, any voice lines that we might have, and what's going to come next season because of it. You don't see an issue with that, and then we talk about Epic Games not working hard enough, and then we talk about Epic Games, What happened at Epic Games in their development? Why don't we have the game like Chapter 1? What happened to the storyline? Perhaps we would all actually enjoy the storyline if we didn't know what was happening the entire time. Like, I always point back to this because I think it's the best example. You remember one of the best things of all time, and I think I've mentioned it a couple times in this video, that being Kevin the Cube. Could you imagine if we knew the entirety of Chapter 1 Season 5? Okay, this big cube is going to come. It's going to roll around the map. It's going to roll at this time of day. And it's going to go on this specific path through these specific POIs, and then it's going to lead into Loot Lake. It's going to fall into Loot Lake. It's going to slowly roll over there, and then we're going to have a feature with this bouncy Loot Lake where you can bounce on it, and people are going to have a lot of fun with it. And then we are going to figure out that actually this cube is part of this organization called The Last Reality. And then they're going to get into exactly like what The Last Reality is going to be about. I'm not exaggerating. That's what the leaks are like now. And if we had that in Chapter 1 Season 5, we wouldn't have all of the fun clips and reasoning for people to get on the game because there's this big weird cube. We wouldn't be talking about or waiting for it to roll because we would know the exact time that it's going to roll. We would know what we can and can't do with it. That would ruin all the clips and all the fun that people had finding out the hard way, pickaxing it, the lightning coming off of it. We wouldn't all of a sudden see it roll into Loot Lake and then have this really, really great time with the bouncy lake. That is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Epic Games has still tried to do this over the years and give us experiences like this, but because of leaks, we can't have that anymore. The reason we enjoyed OG Fortnite is because Epic Games constantly gave us new updates, new things to play around with, a great storyline, and we didn't know what it was about, and we had to speculate, and we had to sit on it, and we had reasons for jumping on the game. Now we know every single update and every single little thing that there is to come to the game, and then we talk about all these different reasons why we don't enjoy Fortnite anymore. Leaks are the biggest issue. Now, I suggest that Epic Games starts banning people and pursues legal action. And what I mean by say with examples, make an example out of somebody. After a warning, okay? After a warning. They need to make a strong example out of somebody, sue them to the ground, say, hey, this, and it sucks that they have to do this, but I think this is the way to go about it, okay? And I have no issues with leakers. People do their jobs, people are data miners, that's fine. But there are things that are ruining Fortnite. For example, something that I talked about was like, I personally like skin leaks. I know what skins are coming, I get excited for that. That doesn't ruin Fortnite for a lot of people, but with the extent of leaks that we get, too far. Communicate what should and should not be leaked, whether that's through email, whether that's a blog, give us a little bit of hint. Okay, there's a folder here. Don't touch it. Don't talk about what's in it. Okay? Whoever releases that information, sue them to the ground. Sue them to the ground. Make a big example out of somebody who goes, oh yeah, you know what? Screw you, Epic Games. I'm going to do it anyways. That will change it. That will fix it. I believe that's the only way to move forward. Leaks are the biggest issue with Fortnite. You can ignore every single little thing that I talked about here. If you fix this, you are fixing Fortnite. I will sit on that. I believe it is by far the biggest issue that Epic Games needs to get on immediately. Let's continue on to the next topic though. Circling back to concepts. Let's talk about the concepts and Concept Royale. This is something that I previously talked about in the video, but I want all of the concept creators to be regularly involved. Remember when Epic Games used to bring back or like just randomly add some people's skins? If it's paid, that would be great. Epic Games can afford it. They should pay people. But how many people do you know that just are fantastic artists and would love to just have their thing or their art piece or whatever skin or design they came up with to be implemented into the game? And how many people do you know that they would do that for free? A lot of people would. So if Epic Games really doesn't want to spend the budget on this, fine, make it free. People would still be happy with that. Now, instead of using Reddit, instead of using Twitter, because I remember last time for the Concept Royale, it was like, use this hashtag, just create an Epic platform for skin submissions, have it on Fortnite.com or something, have people be able to view it, have people able to vote for it. That would be great. Bring the community together. Plus, you could have all these great designers throwing their art out there and actually like maybe having it implemented in the game. I think that's amazing. And it's saving Epic Games a lot of time and energy. Have one specific team going over it. I don't care. Whatever you need to do to get the people on that. People can design skins for you, and people have their minds. Like, there are minds out there that aren't working for Epic Games that are better minds than some of the devs that are actually working there. And that's no disrespect to the devs, but there's people that you just don't know about. There could be somebody that's 12 years old that has a better idea for a skin than anybody could possibly come up with, but they can't work for Epic Games. I would love for them to have this opportunity, and it was a great way to bring the community back together. I'm somebody who loves looking at concepts. I'm somebody who does that on their own time. To have these submissions within Fortnite themselves, I think that'd be really cool. Have a Concept Royale per season. People would never get bored of it. It would be a grand event each time. It was an excellent way to bring the community together, and I think they really, really need to get back on doing that. Let's continue on to Epic's involvement with this game, okay? Like I mentioned earlier, they need to promote UEFN maps and have dev blogs. This is very important for the state of UEFN. Like I was talking about, if you're expecting people to work for you or give up their livelihood to develop games for you, they deserve your promotion for, like, I mean, not like just randomly, okay? Just shine the light on it every once in a while. Give the UEFN devs a little bit of a bone. Have a team like making the trailers. We make trailers all the time for people's maps. Just do it a little bit more. The dev blogs, if they're working on something, that would be nice to see. Seasonal Q&As would be great too, not just for UEFN, but for Fortnite in general. If we could talk to the devs, if we could talk to somebody who's working behind the scenes in Fortnite, if we can talk to somebody like to the level of not necessarily Tim Sweeney, but somebody high up in Epic Games for their vision, and we can get an idea of what's coming, I think that would be great. We could have questions and answers all the time, okay? Creators should receive roadmaps with legal action, like I was talking about with leaks. They don't need a roadmap in like, okay, this is what's coming, this is the update, this is what it's going to be about. But I recently made a video talking about this, and a lot of content creators are stuck devoting their lives to this game. And I know you can see my dog here. I just had to pause the recording because she woke up and decided that she wanted to be played with, okay? And now, there we go. Now she's just chasing her tail, and she's just ruining the microphone quality we have going on over here, eh? I haven't taken her out yet today, and it's been a little bit later because this video has been taking forever to record, and I've recorded a couple things for the channel, so she's gonna start bugging me. I think she's had enough now. She needs to go. Actually, the time recording this video, it's Sunny's birthday. Happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to Sunny, baby. Happy birthday, Sunny. Happy birthday, baby. So she might be a little bit of an interruption moving forward with this video. She knows that it's about time that I take her out, okay? But what I was talking about is it would be nice for creators to receive roadmaps, and it'd be nice, and I know that Epic Games doesn't need to do this, but there's a lot of people who kind of devote their life into Fortnite updates or live events waiting to see if things will happen. I pointed back to iTalk, like he sacrifices life for the item shop. If there's something grand that creators need to be present for, or something grand that's coming for streamers, you know, to be absolutely live for, I think that would be nice if Epic Games gave a heads up on when that was going to happen. Now, the community, because it talked about with leaks, no way. No way. You miss a live event, you miss a mini event, you miss it. I don't care. Chapter 1 was perfect. They need to recapture that vision. Creators, if they could have these roadmaps, could be live for these things to get the clips to promote Fortnite. Give that to them with legal action. Again, if they let this out, if they talk about something big coming, if they wrench in it in any way, sue them to the ground. That would fix it. So I do believe Epic Games should get a little bit more involved with their community in that sense for UEFN and creators in general. Now, something that's brand new to Fortnite is AI in Fortnite. Unfortunately, as much as I am against AI in the world, this has been one of the greatest things at the time of recording this video. It's been only been a couple days since. Darth Vader, having AI integrated with him with Google Gemini and 11 Labs have been one of the greatest greatest updates in Fortnite history. You can't deny that. It's been perfect, and unfortunately, we would all like to see more content like this, okay? It would be great if you could hide storyline secrets inside these characters. If you want to talk about, like, could you imagine the conversations that you could have fishing out little information and make it difficult to do so? Give us that time again to speculate about the story. Okay, Darth Vader mentioned something about a Zero Shard. Why would he do that? And I know this Zero Shard probably wasn't the best explanation, but if we could hide little details in the storyline inside these AI characters, that would be so much more fun. You can make dedicated to streams to like figuring out what Darth Vader knows about the 0 point. Things like that. In general, you have all of your favorite characters too, and you could add Goku, Aaron from Attack on Titan. I don't care who it is. I don't care. You can add some celebrity in there too. This is going to provide clips until the end of time, and these are the types of things that bring Fortnite to the top of the game. I have never seen the internet come together like they did with this in a very, very long time when it comes to something like Fortnite, and the clips will be endless. Making Darth Vader say Hawk Tua will always be funny, and you can apply that logic to any other character, and to have a map full of AIs. And honestly, guys, there are a lot of people who play this game alone and don't play the game. Like, I'm personally somebody who doesn't like to play solos. The fact that you actually can have an AI teammate, and it could be one of your favorite characters of all time, it's helpful. A lot of people would want to play duos. A lot of people, they would play solos, but you get the point. A lot of people would feel companionship, and as sad as that is, it would be helpful. You know, I think that this is a good thing for Fortnite. And of course, I would like to see as much work as possible provided for voice actors, because with this, and I don't think that I get a lot of hate for saying the fight's pointless, guys, but I'm just being realistic here. If you don't think that Epic Games is going to give voice actors less work and it's all going to be AI one day, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's just, that's what's coming. I think Epic Games should do the right thing and that being provide as much work as possible for voice actors. You can't do that for the AI characters. I know that. You can't have somebody sitting down doing a Darth Vader impersonation until the end of time, just prompt after prompt after prompt. It's literally impossible to do, right? But for the storyline characters, for new characters coming through, they're going to scrap their art team, I'm sure. AI is going to be making skins one day. Like, they're probably going to release this very, very slowly, so the outrage is a little bit less. They're going to get outraged no matter what, but I think you guys are crazy if you don't think that Epic Games is going to implement AI, and all gaming companies are going to implement AI into their development, and they're going to save money, as much money as they possibly can. We need to make sure, and if I was in charge, I would make sure that does not happen. We provide as much work to humans as possible, but I do like the AI NPCs, but of course, it is a slippery slope, and it's unfortunate that this thing is as fun as it was. AI is just beginning in Fortnite, and we need to carefully monitor that, okay? Although it has been fun. It has been really fun. It's just a slippery slope, like I said. Now, guys, this has been a very, very long conversation that we've had. I would love to know what you guys think about everything I just talked about. I believe this is the way that we can fix Fortnite. And if you want to continue on, I opened up about so much more in my first video that is still relevant to this day. I want to point you over to this video. I would love if you also gave that video a chance. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. Take care, everybody.